Okay, we are live. Mediumship. Other mediums are not always the best clients or sitters. That is the topic of today's video. And I'm just clicking on something to check on it. I think we're good. All right. So that is the topic of today's video. As always, please like or comment or click the subscribe bell because that helps other people see these videos. So even though other mediums are not always the best sitters or clients, the best people for you, in all cases, they are better to practice on than the general public. I've said in other videos, and I cannot stress strongly enough that you should not be practicing, doing your early development of mediumship on anybody who doesn't know that you are practicing and that you're still learning and trying to understand yourself. So other mediums are always better to practice on, but we're not necessarily the very best to practice on for a few reasons. So we're not immune to what John Edwards calls the psychic amnesia. And I've done that to people where most recently, for example, someone got a medium practicing on me, got someone in spirit who I had lived with, and was mentioning a bridge, kept getting a bridge as a location. It was an important thing, and I couldn't take that at all. And the next day, I realized that the street name that I lived on with this person had bridge in it. That was part of the street name. So whenever I've done that to someone, and I've done it several times, I have always made the effort, whether it was a small effort or big effort, to find them and contact them and let them know that they were right. I think that's something that we should do for each other when we're in some kind of practice or development circle and you do the psychic amnesia thing to somebody. Always reach out and let them know that they were right about that. Other people, so some problems I've had with other mediums who were letting me practice on them, or we were supposed to be practicing on each other, is, for example, people who tried to teach me, to coach me along in the process. And I just want someone to sit for me so I can practice on them. And I think there's nothing wrong with teaching other mediums, but I think if you want to do that, you should host your own circles or host your own classes. So what I've done is I've taken some online classes from people who teach for the Arthur Findlay College, so they're not Arthur Findlay teachers, which is sort of the place to go to learn mediumship in England. But they teach for that and they do their own private classes. And I've been paired one-on-one with people who in breakout rooms who wanted to try to teach me. And almost always it's been trying to teach me their way of doing it or how they were taught to do it. And I'm a big advocate, if you don't already know, of doing mediumship your own way. That's really important. So when this happens, when you're paired with someone like this, just be patient, wait for the breakout room to end, and hope you don't get paired with them again. It's just part of the learning process. And yeah, so don't worry about it, but it will definitely happen where you'll get someone who's trying to teach you or coach you in, which maybe you want if you're very early on, but if you're not so early on, that can be annoying. And think about if you are inclined to teach or coach others, ask them if they want your help or if they want your coaching, because maybe they don't. Also, just like any group you could possibly belong to, some people in any given group can be very competitive. And like I know a lot of orchestral musicians, and most of us have a very let's work together to make music together attitude, but some of us are really competitive. And that always sort of disappoints me and makes me sad, whether it's in mediumship or in musicianship. That competitive thing, it just doesn't speak to me. That's not part of who I am. And in mediumship, also with musicians, it comes across more to me as, hey, look at how good I do this, as opposed to being an act of service. For me, mediumship is an act of service to the person that I connect with in spirit and also for my client, whether or not they're paying me. And the thing is about those people that I've come across who are really competitive, most of them were actually quite good mediums. So maybe that's just their approach to life. This competitive thing may just be something they do. I don't know. So that's that. I do have to say, though, these trouble people or problem people that you can come across are not the majority. The vast majority of us are trying to help each other learn why we got things the way we did, or are willing to help us to understand why we got, what information we got. Other people I've come across, other mediums, have wanted things that are just too crazy specific. They don't give that kind of specificity in their own readings, but they seem to want it in these breakout rooms. And so, or just in a group, I know early on in my development, I was in just a group setting where we were doing sort of platform reading for each other. And I got this woman in her 30s. She had an adult daughter when she passed. I knew she died in a fall, and she was either a doctor or a nurse. I knew she had a medical job. And I think I got, I'll just make up the name. I don't remember what I got now, but it was like Roxanne. Nobody could take it. And then right at the end of my time limit, like 7 minutes or whatever it was, somebody in the group said, well, my cousin passed in her 30s from a fall. She was a nurse, but her name wasn't Roxanne. That was her daughter's name. So I wasn't sure if you were with me. And I thought, yeah, I was with you. So just wanting, I don't know, too much specificity. I've seen that in other mediums or potential mediums. A huge red flag for me when I'm in a one-on-one breakout room with somebody is when they're shaking their head no, or saying or saying the word no, no, before I've even finished my first sentence, or maybe my second sentence. So I'll say, and I'm thinking of someone in particular where I will say, I know I have a man, father's side of the family, parents' generation, and oops. Just got a warning from my computer. Hope you can hear me. Okay, so man, father's side of the family, parents' generation, and the other person was saying, no, no, no. And actually what they wanted me to say was, I'm with your dad's brother, which is the same way of saying man, father's side of the family, parents' generation. They're both ways of saying uncle, whoever. But what they wanted to hear was their way. I'm with your dad's brother. So I just think that's ridiculously specific. I mean, that's a ridiculous wanting it your way when they both mean the same thing. Anyway, that happens. Someone who's either shaking their head no or murmuring the word no or doing both before you're even done talking, that's kind of a red flag that you maybe want to be with one of these difficult people, and you just wait for that breakout room to end and hope you don't get paired with them again. I think it's amazing to me. It's still wondrous to me that we get any information at all. I just think that's super cool. And I kind of revel in that. Whether I'm being read or I'm doing the reading, I just think it's great that this happens at all. So I would give you, if you're new to developing mediumship, I would give you the same advice that I give to musicians, which is do not be discouraged at the rate of your progress, and do not ever compare yourself to other people, because you don't know what their, first of all, two things. You don't know what their natural ability is. I'm naturally very good at some instruments and terrible at others. So you don't know what their natural ability is for mediumship compared to yours. And you also have no idea what resources they've been able to throw at developing this. Are they retired and they don't have to work, and so they can do 5 different classes a week and you can only do 1 a month? You don't know. So do not compare yourself to other people. Go at your own pace. In my repeated observation, everybody's development is unique, is super unique, which segues nicely into next week's topic, which is development takes time. This is not something that happens overnight or even in a couple of months. And it's a different amount of time for everybody, but development takes time. So that's the subject of next week's video. Thank you for watching this time. Please, again, like this video, comment on it below, or click the subscribe button, because that does help more people see these videos. And until then, thank you for watching, and see you next week.